Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everyone's doing all right, and I'm looking forward to another session. Go back to bed, Gabe. It's like 8 in the morning for me. How's it going, guys? Hey Langors, what's up? Essie Woods, Voxel Riffs, Tree, how's it going, everybody? I hope you're doing all right. So I've made quite a bit of progress in the past week. I fixed up a lot of bugs that I had, and how's it going, Cranberry Juice? And I've also added a couple of other features and stuff, so we can take a look at what we got. I got to switch my primary monitor. So Streamlabs was being weird this morning, and I wasn't able to put it on my main monitor for some reason. But yeah, it's not 6. That's probably because we adjusted the clock. No, yeah, it's 8 o'clock for me, but I might have adjusted the clock. I don't know. Maybe I should have. So maybe it's like 7 for me, actually. But let's go. I got to change my primary monitor real quick. So let's just go into application.cpp just so that I can switch from using my primary monitor to secondary for this stream. So let's see. I think it's in here. Wait, no, it's probably in window.cpp actually. Okay, let's go into here. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so let's just change this to GLFW get monitors. And then we'll get returns the currently connected monitors. This function returns, okay, and then we put in the count. Okay, so then we'll just do int count, and we'll say pass that address, and we can get all the monitors, and then we'll just say if count is greater than 2, which it should be, we'll say monitor equals monitors. I think if I just do 1, that should be good. Let's see if that works. Okay, it's just a real hacky thing. I'll put it to do to remove. Nope, it's still the same monitor. Or is it? Wait a second. Let's see. What do we get here? Oh, I'm trying to... Okay, nope, that's on the wrong monitor. Wait, let's try again. Okay, let's go back to where that was. Let's try 2 then. And see if this one works. There we go. Okay, cool. So my little debug thing pops up on the wrong one, but that's all good. I can drag that over. Okay, I probably could have just dragged the window over, but that's going to be annoying if I do that every time. So yeah. Anyways, Essie Woods, yeah, we've adjusted it. You might not adjust clock the same way as us here in Norway. Well, we are supposed to fall back too, so I think like technically it would be 7 if today is the day and I just completely forgot. So yeah. But oh yeah, so I added cube maps to the main screen, so I forgot that I hadn't done that yet. But there's that. Yeah, I think it is tomorrow for us on Sunday. That's when we do the fallback thing. But yeah, and thank you for reminding me, because I would have gone to church an hour early and then been like, what am I doing here so early? So it's a good thing you reminded me of that. So if we go in, we've still got like the normal stuff here. We're going to fix this up today because it's really bothering me. I've added all of these things, the little icons down here. I've added scrolling to the menu. I've fixed up lighting. So if we go into here, you'll see that the lights look good. There is still one problem. Oh, and it also passes through transparent objects, but we need to fix this. And the topic of today is transparency, because if we look out here, it looks like the world has disappeared, when in fact, it's just doing weird stuff here. So that's what we got to fix, get actual blending working. But yeah, we have the icons and everything. We have commands. So like if I go /screenshot, that will actually take a screenshot and it'll place it inside of screenshots. And so you can see, whoops, that's the wrong screenshot, but you can see we got it right here. What I was just looking at. So you can do all that cool stuff. And the reason I did that was so that I could generate cube maps, which is for the main menu screen. So like if I do generate cube map, it'll generate 6 screenshots, and maybe we'll do that a little bit later once we get transparency working. We can also do like set inventory slot to like sea lantern or something, and that'll give me a sea lantern or whatever block we have, and then you can place it. That one's really dark right now because don't have the lighting, but like if I place glowstone, you'll see lights up. I break it, it gets dark. You know, multiple lights kind of work okay. I have some problems with this, so you'll see this kind of gets weird because I don't have multiple back propagation blocks yet. That's an issue I'll have to solve later, because right now when I enable it, it gets really slow and doesn't work right. So I'm going to have to take a look at that later. But it works pretty good for the most part, so I'm not too worried about it. And then if you like break blocks too, it'll let the light in and everything. And then let's just get cobblestone so that we have that. And we can sort of use that and stuff too. Yeah, so we've got like a pretty good bit of stuff done. And I fixed up one other bug too. The ray casting was pretty poorly done because I was just stepping in the direction of the ray. And so you could skip a cube on accident. So like if I was pointing like right here, it would think I'm actually pointing at this block because of stuff. So I basically fixed it so that the ray casting is exact. And now no matter where your cursor is, it's pointing to the exact voxel and you don't have any of those problems. But yeah, so I think that's about all the bugs. What I really want to do first is, like I said, get that menu screen better. So like the world screens and stuff. And then also I want to get like a save and exit to main menu screen because that will be nice too. Let me put a to do in here so I don't forget because this will throw me off later. Remove me. Okay. Let me just catch up on chat. Looking good. Also, is it me or is it smoother? It may be smoother because I did fix some stuff with input too. But yeah. AK Dev, we got lamps. We do. And Gabecraft, yep. Okay, an advantage of being developer. You don't have to buy Minecraft. You can just make your own. Yeah. But it's like that whole meme, you know, Minecraft at home, and then it shows my weird lights completely messing up when I break one. Yeah, but anyways, I've also restructured the chunk manager. That's another thing too. So you said, does it look smoother? I've restructured the chunk manager. It's all running on one thread now because I realized I never even checked to see what the performance would be like if I just ran everything on one thread. Turns out if I just run the chunk management on a single thread by itself, it's actually pretty performant. We're on debug mode and you guys saw how fast it loads in and stuff. So let me just run that one more time so we can see. So if I load this in, you'll see that it still goes pretty fast and release is even faster. Like there is no problem with that speed. And so what I did was to simplify things tremendously is I moved all of the chunk management, chunk generation stuff to a single thread. And what that means is now I can do cool things like if we look at the chunk manager.h, I actually have, or actually I think, I call it chunk. So I actually have this thing in here, which is a chunk structure. And we've got the top neighbor, bottom neighbor. So that's like if you're just looking at a 2D map of the chunk and then like top, bottom. Here, I've got it on the drawing screen, actually. We'll pull that up real quick. And let me also turn on my mouse's color real quickly. Let's see. Just got to find that. Okay. So yeah, you can see I have like a little drawing over here. Whoops. And now this is on the wrong thing too. I've got a little drawing over here. So this would be like the top chunk, bottom chunk, left chunk, right chunk. And so I store all those as like pointers. And that basically just means it's a lot easier to traverse chunks whenever I get stuff out of bounds. And so generating stuff across chunks, like lighting, is so much easier. And this is also going to be good for generating trees, structures, whatever needs to go across chunks is going to be way easier now that we have this sort of linked list or like tree of chunks. But yeah. Also, how was my first week at my new job? It was pretty good. Looks like this will be a good job. So I'm looking forward to working there. It's going to be busy, so I don't have as much time to code in my spare time and stuff, but that's fine because, you know, job should be first, but it's still good. Yeah, so this is all good. And you can sort of see how I've used this too inside of the chunk manager. So if I scroll down to where I'm doing the lighting, which is way down here in this giant file that I need to clean up. So yeah, so here's like an example of how I use it. So if I'm ever getting a block, I check the X's. If the X or Z is out of bounds, so like these coordinates should be local to the chunk, so like 0 through 15. And if it's ever like negative or if it's greater than 15, it basically just says, oh, get the chunk's top neighbor. And then we convert it to local coordinates for that chunk. And so that means we never, and this doesn't run into problems. Before I had problems where this would have to lock something to make sure it's not another thread isn't working on it. And that would slow things down a ton because it's like, then you got locking and waiting and synchronization problems. So this is just so much better. Yeah. But yeah, it's working pretty good. I'm happy with the way it is. I feel like I've simplified the lighting a little bit more too. It's still, this is the function. It's still pretty huge, but I do think it's a little bit better. And then I also have to do some to-dos in here and stuff. But yeah. So first order of business, I don't like this screen. So let's see if we can fix this very quickly. Shouldn't take too long. What I basically want to do is just have like a little picture here and then the world name to the right of it, sort of like Minecraft. And when you click on it, I want it to like do a box around it, just like Minecraft. So let's see if we can actually do that. I'm going to close some of this stuff out. Oh, I should probably show the command line too, because that's just a very simple parser. I didn't do too much with it. It's supposed to be pretty bare bones, but it is easy to add new commands. Okay, there we go. So I'm using this library called magic enum in C++, which basically allows you to just get the enum name as a string. So you can see that I have different command line types. And basically what I do is I just do a little bit of parsing every time you press enter, which means this parse text boolean gets set. So then I go and I say parse command. I need to display it to chat too, which is what this is about. But yeah, so this basically parses the command. It's just a simple parser. It goes ahead and breaks up the tokens into different arguments in like a command name. It sees if we matched any of the commands. If we did match it, then it goes through and like executes based on the type, and then we do all this stuff. And yeah, so basically it just means it's really easy to add new commands. If I wanted to say like add a command get block, I could do that, and as long as I spell it right, and I could just go down here and I could say case command line type get block, and then I could just say execute get block. I don't have to do this part, but I'm doing this so I can show you guys how I get like command line arguments and stuff too. So then I'll just copy that real quick and we'll say execute get block. And then if I go ahead and actually I should probably copy that. So copy that and then we'll implement it here real quickly. And then I could say something like for int I equals 0 until I is less than args length I plus plus, and then we could say g logger print, or I guess warning info, doesn't matter, arg %d %s, and I'll do quotes around that so that we can see what it is. And I could do like args dot or I dot string, and we'll turn this into a stud string because it's basically like a string view, and so that'll have some problems. I'll do string plus args I dot length dot c string, and what this will do is it'll basically just print out all the arguments, and then we can also say g logger warning called get block. Okay, and then if we go into here and we just pass in args length, it's all set up. So that might seem like a lot, but it's actually pretty simple considering arguments and command line parsing can be difficult if you want to make it that way. So now if I just load all that up, I say get block, arg1, arg2, something else, I get an exception. So I probably messed something up there. I did say called get block and then I messed something up, so I must have used this wrong. What'd I do? So yeah, usually this works fine. Just interested to see what I messed up on. Let me check the chat real quick too. Massive switch statements get old fast. Yeah, I know, but this is pretty easy to add new stuff in and everything, so I'm okay with it. I think I probably just used this string constructor wrong. Oh, yeah, wait, I should probably be doing address of that and then like address of that because it expects a start and an end, maybe. Stud string str equals argsi dot length and then, or whoops, argsi dot string plus argsi dot length. Oh yeah, this isn't gonna, I think it should be fine though. What does this return? That returns a const char star. That should return a const char star. And so I would assume that would be fine. My computer tells me Windows 11 is ready to be installed. Is it recommended? Will it mess up Eclipse IDE? I don't trust Microsoft, so I would say don't do that. Just in case, because you never know. And then if I do that, let me just see how I did it down here real quick too, just to make sure. Yeah, so I literally just did std string, which is what I'm doing up here. Yeah, nothing special. Maybe it was because I was doing it all at the same time and like the destructor was getting called or something. Okay, so if I do that, it should be as simple as that. And now, if I hit play and we say /get block arg1, arg2, no, it's still broken. I don't know what I did. That's weird. You can see the arguments are picked up here. So it's like saying arg1, arg2. And then if we look at length, yeah, it says 4. So not quite sure why it's breaking there, but that's the basic workflow. And it works for other things. So I might just be calling something wrong there. But yeah. I have Windows 11, but I don't know if it's going to mess with Eclipse. It probably shouldn't, though. Yeah, I just wouldn't trust Microsoft. They mess up a lot of stuff. So let me remove all that, though. But that's the basic process for adding a new command now. It is pretty simple. And you can add different things. And then I'm going to have it display the chat and stuff, too, so that if you have errors, it should like tell you what the errors are and everything. Okay, so now let's start building that menu. So if we go to, I think that's in main menu.cpp. Yep, I think it actually might be in a different file, but similar to this one. So we got this, and then we've got, and you can see I'm using the cube map here. I'm really glad I made the cube map the way I did because it was super easy to add this to the main menu, by the way, but yeah. Let's see, if not creating world, all this stuff. Else, okay, so it's the create world menu is the one we want to go into. So we'll just pop that out. And this is the one we want to mess with. Also, another thing I just want to mention, because this was way harder than you would think it would be. For some reason, like I don't know why. I don't know. I do know why, because it makes sense, but it's way harder than it needs to be. So basically, these blocks down here, right? These little block icons. They look pretty simple, right? You just assume, oh, Minecraft probably has some texture sheet like everything else, and they just have all these blocks in here. Well, let me tell you something. That's not how they do it, because if you look through all of their assets, there is no texture sheet with all that stuff, sprite sheet, whatever you want to call it. So what I have to do is I have to go and generate every single one of these by setting up a fake scene with a fake camera, with a fake sun, with a shader, and then basically point it in exactly the direction, place the block there, build the block, and then render it to an output image. And then finally, I get my little thing, which is this packed block items texture. And then finally, I get this little texture sheet that I can use in the game. So yeah, it's annoying. It's aggravating. And it took me longer than I thought, which is the whole reason I added the screenshot behavior and everything, just so that I could do this. So yeah. But once it got done, it's nice if we add a new block type. So for instance, if we go back into there, you'll notice that there's like no, I don't know, what's a block we could add? There's no birch. So say we want to add birch, right? What's the process for that? Well, it's pretty easy. We go into here, we say I want to add birch, and then we go, ID is going to be 17. I need to remove the IDs too or something, or just have them like auto generate so that you can find them, but there's problems with that. I don't know. Anyways, we'll say side is birch log, top is birch log, top, bottom is birch log top, and then we can say, is it solid? That's true. Not solid as in the acronym, because that's terrible. Is it transparent? That's false. Is it a light source? That's false. And then we don't actually have to put in the light level. That'll automatically get set to 0. So now we got this. I'm actually going to call it birch log. So then if we go, we need to delete that generated folder just so that regenerates. So that'll trigger it to regenerate as soon as we start the game. Let's see if we go back into the correct one. There's no folder there, but then if we hit play game, we load world, then it generates the generated, and then we get all the stuff start generating. It packs all the item textures, and then we get this texture sheet, which is all of those things. And if we look into here, we have no birch log. Oh yeah, we do. So birch log right there. So then it automatically patches things together so that when I go set inventory slot 2 to birch log, it automatically gets the appropriate texture. And then we just build with those blocks. So it was a complicated process to kind of set up, but it's very useful, and it makes generating these things super easy. So now you don't have to worry about like generating or creating a bunch of artwork, which is kind of nice. So that's the reason I could definitely see why Minecraft would have done that. But yeah, CGO Clan, how's it going? Hope you're doing all right. Minecraft actually renders blocks into textures. Yep. Okay. Yeah. And you bought a Portal version of the thing at your back. Oh, well, yeah, I've had the Portal one. My camera's slightly turned because I had to reorganize my office because I got that equipment back there for my work. So yeah, but good observation. I see he moved around stuff in the back. Yep. So it's like sort of flipped around a little bit, but it feels cleaner finally. So that's good. Okay. So anyways, we've got this main menu now and the create world menu. This is where it sort of goes through and shows all the worlds. So what I want to do, like I said, is basically we need a way to tell which one is the selected world. So we'll just say like static int selected index equals -1. Do I already have something like that though? Because I probably do. So this is window 2. This holds the load game and new world buttons. And then window 1 holds all of the worlds, holds all of the save files. Okay, so like there's 2 invisible windows for all this stuff. So we've got this. We get the textured button. We say get the world's root path. We iterate through all the files in that root path. We center all of the elements inside this window. And we say, give me, okay, so I get the stem, which is basically just like the file name without the extension. Then I get the world data path. I get the text if I, okay, yeah. And then if you click on the button, I said it's that. We could do something like this just to keep track. So int I equals 0. So what I'm doing right now is getting like the square to pop up around them. So that should be pretty easy. I can just do this. So then we can say I equals 0 and we'll do I plus plus here. And we'll say I equals, all right, selected index equals I. And we can say this texture button, this has no other parameters. I'm debating what the best way to do this would be. We could probably just say like GUI get size or something, and GUI get position. Get last element size, and then GUI get last element position. So we'll do that to get the position and size, and then this will be like a GLM vec2 size equals that, and then we'll say GLM vec2 pose equals that. And then we should be able to just say like render, if I go up here, and we say include render / render, then we should be able to just draw a square here. So then we can say draw square 2D, and it needs the start, which is going to be the pose, the size, which is going to be the size, and then we'll just do default style for now, and we can change that up later. Okay, so we need to include that too. So we'll just say include render styles. Okay, so we basically do that. Did I get this wrong? Default, oh, there we go. Okay, so we do that, and then we just need to implement these 2 things, and we should be good. So last element size, if we go into GUI, we'll open that up, and we will also open that up, and I'm gonna move that over there, and we'll move that there, because I like my header files before my CPP files. Okay, so we'll get GLM vec2 last element size. I think I called that get last element size. Get last element position, and I think, is that what I called them? It is. Okay, cool. So that's all we need there, and then we can just go ahead and implement these, which should be simple because I think the way I develop this is we kind of keep track of all that stuff. Yeah, so let's go down to here, do that, and I think I have a couple function or variables in here, which is, okay, so we have the cursor position, which is that, maybe I don't. We should probably save those elements. Okay, so we will put glm vec2 last element position, glm vec2 last element size. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll just add that into a function I have, which is something like advanced cursor past element. So I use this for all of the elements, and I think this is what we'll want. So yes, I think this is what we want. Yeah, because this gives us the element size and it gives us the element padding. Okay, yeah. So then what we can do is we can just say window.last element position equals, I think I want to say the window.cursor position minus element padding, because we have padding for all the elements, and then we can say window.last element size equals element size plus element padding. Okay, cool. So that's what we should need, and then I need to do that for same line things and then for these things as well. And I think we should be good, and no sense duplicating that stuff. We can just put it there. Okay, so that'll save that, and then we can just return that now in here. So we can just say return window dot, what did I call that? Is it called like state or something? Current window, Windows current window. Okay, so we'll return Windows current window dot last element position or size. This is size. Okay, and then down here we do that for size position. There we go. Cool. And so theoretically, we should now get a square around the selected menu element. Let's see if that all works. Let me just see. Oh, you brought Portal version of that thing. Oh, okay. I just read that. Yeah. I installed VS 2022 and I'm like sitting here waiting for it to compile. Ooh, see if it will work. Read access violation. Texture was null pointer. I'm not sure what that's about. I haven't done a clean build of this in a while though, so I might not have everything set up properly. I'd have to check that out. Okay, so it's got this thing, which isn't good. And when I click here, it's not really giving me that. So what's going on there? Well, first of all, I should say if selected index does not equal -1, then we do this. That would be nice. And we'll draw it. So we only draw it if this element is selected. And it looks like it wasn't getting quite the right position. Oh, it's because I have to add in the Windows position and stuff to there. Okay, well, you see it popped up when I clicked it. That's good. The last thing I have to do, I forgot about this, is we have to do the Windows current window dot position plus that, and that's what we probably need, which should give us the appropriate. Okay, cool. So that's almost there. It looks like it's at the top left because of the way I do things in here. So we'll just say glm vec2. How do I want to do this? Yeah, this, and then we'll say Windows. Actually, let's do this inside of that function. Oh no, wait a second. How do I want to do this? Because basically I render these from top to bottom, but when I'm taking in my render, it expects it from the bottom left corner instead of the top left corner. So that's why it's above rather than below. So basically what I can do is just say that dot x, and let's move this to a new line so we can actually see it. And then Windows current window dot last element position dot y minus current window dot last element size dot y. Okay, and that's really long. We'll move that to a new line, but it should do what we want it to do. And let's see if that works. Should just move it down. Okay, cool. So now it gets highlighted when we click it, and then if we add another new world in here, just so that we have a couple worlds. This is something else we need to fix too. Right now, world generation is really slow because of I'm duplicating the Perlin noise generator for every chunk because of I had to do that for multiple threads, but now we don't. So I should be able to remove that, and then it should generate way faster. But yeah, and we're also in debug mode, so it's going to be slower, but it's fine. So we've got that. We should be able to go back into there, and if we have multiple menu items, they all get selected. That's great. No, that's not what we want. So what did I do there? That was kind of weird. So if we look at this again, or it's this one, yeah. If selected index does not equal -1, oh, and if selected index equals I, that's all I need to do. There we go. That's a dumb logic flaw, whatever. Lesson learned, multiple threads aren't always the solution. True. Always do performance before you do that type of stuff, right? Okay, but this is working good. You can see that we get the line around what we're clicking, which is definitely needed. So that's good. I want to create a new GUI kind of thing now, which is going to be, we'll probably just call it like world save item or something, just because that's exactly what it's going to be. And that will consist of a picture on the left and the text to the right. So let's go ahead and do that. And it'll detect when you click it, all that good stuff. Checkboxes. Nah, I'm doing it like Minecraft style because, yeah, maybe make that a bit more subtle. Yeah, we'll fix that. Don't worry. For now, though, what I want to do is instead of doing GUI texture button, we are going to do world save path item, world save item. Okay, so this is going to be a special GUI element, blah, blah, whatever. Right, and we're going to use this as its string, and then we're going to pass in an image, which will eventually be like the world's actual image. Like we'll take a screenshot as the player exits, and that screenshot will become the world's save image. For now, though, we will pass in something different. Yeah, and actually, we should only need to pass in the world's whole path, which I'm guessing would be that. Yeah, world data path. Wait a second, I'm trying to think. Okay, yeah, this should be fine. So just the world's, yeah, so this should be fine. So that's all we need to pass in. And we should be able to get the world's like image from that too, eventually. So let's go ahead and we'll go into GUI. And we'll create a bool world save item. This is going to take in a const stood. Actually, we could just do const char star world data path, which will give us like the world's name, but it should just be in the world's folder, so we don't have to worry too much about that stuff. Let's go up to where we have our button, texture button, because it's going to be very similar in functionality. It will be slightly different though. And what I can do too is I can offload that rendering state I had here to here. So what I can basically say is like selected index equals I, and this will be if it's selected or not. So then we can add in a boolean here, which is bool is selected. Okay, that's good. So we'll do that, and then we can paste that in there. And this will basically tell us whether or not it's selected. So then we'll just draw that box around it, which was, I need to like get that over there. Okay, then we'll draw that box, which was just this thing. So we will do that inside of here after we do everything. So we'll basically just do something like that. Okay, and then that should be good. So how is this going to work though? We basically get the window state. We need a sprite, which is eventually going to be the sprite of the world, which we don't have yet, but we'll get that eventually. So yeah, so we get the sprite. It's null pointer for now. That's fine. result equals false. So did they click on this? Not yet. Yeah, I guess we could call this a button because it is kind of a button. So the button's position is going to be the element's position with the button size. How was I passing that in here? This is a textured button thing here. Let's also pass in a const glm vec2 size. Okay, so we'll pass that in as well, just so that we have that. Okay, so we get the size, so we can just do that and that. We can check and see if it's in there using this helper function. If it clicked, then we say the result is true. We get the sprite, which, okay, yeah, so this doesn't really matter too much. We'll put a to-do here, though. To-do, get the world data image thing. Okay, and store it in here. Okay, so we'll do that, and then if it's clicked, we'll say res equals true, and then we can use that to set it to selected. I think should be fine. Nah, I'm just gonna leave it like this. Okay, so we do this, res equals true, and then we basically say if it's hovering, we don't really care about hover states right here. Otherwise, we do this. We don't really care about any of that. We just care about if it gets clicked on, because then we just need to return that it was clicked on. So we do that. Okay, then we need to say to do draw world image path here. For now, we'll do this. Invalid button text cannot be null. Okay, so this is just checking to see if the text is fine. So we'll do that. World data path. Invalid world data path cannot be null is what we'll say. We need like a default font because I don't feel like supplying fonts for everything, and I think I have one. But let me just double check. Yeah, okay, cool. We got default font there. Sweet. So we'll say if default font is null pointer, we're going to be mad. So we say invalid font, default font cannot be null. Okay, cool. So then we get the string size, which is just the default font get size of the button's text, or I guess in this case, the world data path, and we want to get it according to the text scale. Do we have a default text scale? We do not, but we will soon. Text position is going to be the button's position, which was up here, plus the button's size, which is just size minus the string size. So this is just centering the string. And then we draw the text, which is world data path. We draw using this font, default font, address of that guy, I think. What's it looking for? Oh, star that guy. We draw it at that position. We draw it according to the default text scale. That's all good. And then we get the size position and we say if is selected. We'll do this. Okay, and that should draw that around it, which I think we have like the size position. Yeah, button position, and we have the size here. So we'll just do that. Button position, and we'll do size. Is that right? String size, yeah. Okay, cool. So that should be all good. And then we do it past this element, and we just need this default text scale. So let's go ahead and add that real quickly, and we should be good for the most part. Static float default text scale, which I'm gonna set to whatever we have inside of GUI elements, which I have here, and that's that. Very small number, but it works. So we'll say default text scale equals that. We are all good. Let's run this again. Let's see what happens. So now it should just be text and not an actual button, which is going to be a little bit better. Actually, I think I forgot to pass the size. Yep, I did. Okay. So we also need to pass in the size of these things, which, what was the button size? Because we're going to use that. So we'll say button.size. Cool. So we'll do that, and we don't need to do this anymore. Get rid of that, and we're good. Cool. Cool. So now if we do this, we should just see two text things for now. We'll draw a square where the picture should be just so we can get an idea. Yep. And then I click it and we get boxes. They are behind the text right now, as you can see, because, yeah. And they're not the appropriate size, too. So I think what I want to do is I want to get the full size, because I think what's happening is the full size is like, since I'm centering it, yeah, so I say center next element. Whoops, I say center next element here, which means that it's going to fill the size. And so then when we do this advanced cursor past element thing, then it actually gets the appropriate size. Or actually, no, I might have it in here somewhere. Where is it? We were here. Okay, so we say button position is this. Button dot size. Oh, I just don't want to use the button size, do I? So this minus string size. Button's position plus the button size minus string size. No, yeah, button size should be fine. I think. Don't know why that was so small then. That's kind of weird. I'm just double checking all this to make sure I didn't make some dumb mistake. So we've got button text, the button's font. We have the text position. Did I pass all these in right? Position, scale. That. Okay, yeah, that's all fine. Wait, I'm not even in the right thing. Okay, this would help. Oh, this is why. Okay, I'm using string size here. Okay, we need to use button dot size or just size. That should be good now. So now if we go back into there, and then we'll make it a thinner style so that the lines look better. Cool. So now we get this, and it kind of moves. So next thing we want to do is, instead of style's default style, we will say style line style equals that, and then we can do line style dot stroke width equals like 0.01f, which I think should be fine. We will go ahead and use that. See if that works. I'll make this static so it doesn't recreate it every time or recopy it every time, whatever. Okay, so now if we go back in, that is much better. Is that a lot more subtle for you, voxel riffs? I hope so. So we should be good now. Yep, I like that. And then what I want to do is just like kind of display a little icon here. I want to kind of fatten this up a little bit more too, because I don't like how long it is and it's not as tall. So we'll fix that. It is nicer. Okay, cool. That's good. So let's make the button a little bit fatter. Let's go into here. Nope, into here. Okay, so you got this button. We'll say button.size.y equals, what is the default button size, first of all, because I should probably check that out. Texture button, nope, that's the wrong thing. Go back. Default button. There, okay. It is 2.5, 0.2. So we want to go a little bit bigger than 0.2. Let's go like 0.3 and see how that looks, which is going to be actually pretty big. Okay, I like that better. This one isn't like centered vertically properly, which is kind of weird, the text in there. But then this one is. So I'm not quite sure what's up with that. We'll have to take a look at that in the future. For now, it's fine. And then let's just display a little icon to the left, which is just going to be a square for now. I'm kind of debating whether they should be even taller, but that's good enough for now. Okay, so let's draw the image, which is going to get passed in as, or actually, no, it's not going to get passed in because we should be able to find it. But for now, we will do this. We also want to say glem vec2 image position equals, and actually we'll do an image size too. Image size equals, and I think we're just going to do like the button's height. Yeah, that makes sense. We'll do the button size's height minus the element padding. Yeah. CGO clan and SEO, it's notch 2.0. I don't know about that. I spent 90% of my time on useless things like polishing stuff. like tweaking the values. That's not useless. Polish is what separates the good games from the great ones. So waiting for code hot reloading now. Yeah, changing just one value only to recompile to see how it looks is whack. It's true. It was actually interesting. The other day I was debugging something and Visual Studio hot reloaded my code. And I was like, what? And it actually worked. But then I couldn't figure out how to do it again. So it's like, okay, I don't know how it did it, but it did it once and it worked. And I was like, that's pretty cool. So maybe we can just use Visual Studio once it finally works. So anyways, this will just be the button size, or just size, yeah, .y minus element padding .y, and we'll do the same thing here. Okay, and actually we'll probably want to do the button first, just so that we can center the string with the leftover. Actually, no, we'll want to just do the string right after the image, but yeah. Absolutely agree, the devil's in the details, yep. So glm vec2, we got the size. We also want the position, which is just going to be our Windows cursor position, which I think we have somewhere down there. Drawstring, world data path, default font, text pose. Okay, where are we getting text pose from? That's right here, button position plus that. Okay, yeah. So we'll do button position plus the element padding .x. Actually, we could just do this too. We could just say button position plus element padding. So that's where this is going to be. And now that I think about it, we want to multiply that by 2 just so that it's centered properly. Okay, cool. So that should be good. We get the position. And then we're going to say render draw filled square. This will turn into texture 2D eventually. For now, though, this is fine. Image pose, image size, style is going to be styles. Default style, which is just going to give us a color. Okay, so that should give us a little square. And let's just see how that looks. And then we're going to move the string so that it's right after this. This is probably, okay, cool. So we get a little square and it's neatly centered right there with just a little bit of padding, which will eventually become the world image. Next, I just want to move this over so that it's right here with that stuff. So we will say the string's position is not the button's position, but it's actually the image's position plus, and then we'll just do glm vec2 element padding .x 0. So that should move it over just so that it's right next to it, but we actually need to center it vertically, I just thought of. Yeah. Oh, and that didn't work right too. Weird. Oh, because wait, yeah, that's weird. What was this before? We do size minus string size times 0.5. Yeah, that's kind of weird. So this should center it, I think. So that was before. This should center it in the space that's left. And then if I want to make it go after the image position, I would assume, oh, I have to add in the image's size. That's why. So image position plus image size plus, and then we do element padding, which is just glm vec2 element padding .x 0. Okay, that should get it so that it's right next to left, but I still might need to center it vertically. Yeah, okay, so now I need to center it vertically. They're aligned horizontally good though. So what did I have there before? Okay, so I had that. So we want to do size minus string size times 0.5. So we'll do that. Plus, I guess we could just do it in here. Size.y minus string size.y times 0.5. Okay. And I think that should be good. So now it should be centered vertically. Not quite. I think that should be minus. Size.y minus string size.y. I don't know. Maybe that should be minus. Let's see if that fixes that. Just totally doing random things now. Okay, yeah. So that seems to have worked. So we get it right to the left. And then possibly I'll just do like test lighting up here and then like say the last world save date below it eventually. For now though, this is fine. And then those will eventually contain the world pictures, all that stuff. So yeah. That's pretty good. I think we should probably add a background to this screen too, just so that we have a background, which might look a little bit nicer. But maybe we should work on transparency now. Because of engines like Unity, game dev have become very available for many people, but I find a lot of games are underdeveloped because they don't take time on the details. Yes, having said that, I find that doing details when game is getting close to finished is a good thing. I agree. If you just stop short, like if you go 80% of the way and stop short of that 20%, it makes a big difference. So it's always good to try and go as far as you can with whatever you're working on. And especially if you put so much work into it, it's like, don't stop short. Just finish what you've already started. So, yeah. Okay, anyways, though, I like how this is turning out. Let's add a background to this screen, which should be pretty easy. So I'm just going to get the dirt texture, and we'll use that for now. Well, I basically read what you said, but agreed. So, okay, let's go into this create world menu. Yep, so we got all this. We will say, let's get the dirt texture, which I think I can do pretty easy by using our block map. I tried to make it as easy as possible to get things if needed, all that stuff. So let's go world/block map and put that up there. And we're going to get that too. Then to me, well said, SUS. Okay, so if we go into here, we can say block map, get texture format. Yeah, okay, cool. So we can do this, and then we can pass in the texture name, which is dirt, which is, you know, the typical Minecraft thing. And so what does this return? This returns a texture format. So I might need to offload some of, I'm just thinking now, because I don't initialize block map till we actually get into the world, which means the game has loaded. So I might actually need to move some of this stuff into a different area. Yeah, because this is where I actually like get everything set up. So yeah, we're probably gonna have to move all this stuff. That's fine though, we can do that. Okay, so this should get us that though. This is the texture format and it's a reference. So we will get that. We'll put it up inside of init. And then we'll say dirt texture format equals that, address of that. And we'll say static texture format star dirt texture format. And we're good. Cool. It's going to say it's const, so we can't do that. We can make this const because it really doesn't matter. Cool. So that should be fine. So now if we go into here, what we're going to do is basically just say like render draw texture 2D, and this expects a sprite. So I should probably store that as a sprite, shouldn't I? So let's transform this into a sprite. Dirt texture sprite. I have different formats because it's just easier for different things, but yeah. So we can do texture format ref const equals that, and then we'll get rid of that. And then we'll say dirt texture sprite dot texture equals dirt texture format dot texture. And I might need to do like an address there or a star. There we go. Dirt texture sprite dot UV size equals texture format dot UVs. And look at this. I stored a comment in this file. I always forget about this so that I know what order these things are. And it's super nice every time this pops up because now I know the UVs are stored in bottom right, top left, bottom left. So if I want to get the size, I need to do top right minus bottom left, which is 1 minus 3. So we just say UV's 1 minus UV's 3. So much easier. So I'm glad I put that comment there. Totally unintentional, but it ended up working out pretty good. So anyways, we need the UV start, which is dirt texture dot UVs, and that's gonna be the bottom left, which is 3. Cool. So that should put it into a sprite. And now we can go draw texture 2D and we can pass it dirt texture sprite. We want to put it at the top left of our window, which I believe is minus 1.5, 1.5. That might be wrong, but yeah, we'll see. And then vec2, 3.0, 2.5. I'm just using those sizes down there. Yeah, which we may fix in the future because I think that's probably gonna be wrong. But yeah, and then we'll do style as default style, which should just give it the normal texture color. Okay, so now we need to move all of that generation, because if I do this right now, we're just gonna get a null pointer there, and then we're gonna get an exception, or at least we should. Let's see if my code holds up. No, it just works. I mean, it doesn't work. It's not showing anything, but it didn't break, which is interesting. Now I'm interested to see what this is, because if we... Okay, cool. So it fails gracefully. It's not oftentimes that I code something that just fails and doesn't completely crash everything and break horribly. So that's just nice to know. The texture just returns a none texture, which basically just gives us the color that we're using, which in this case is nothing. So that's kind of nice. Okay. That's camera pan you added to the start screen. That's just, yes, I know, right? That's pretty cool. And I'll show you guys how we can generate the cube maps in a little bit too, because that is also pretty nice. And it was super easy to add too. Like if we look at the main menu screen, because of the way I coded this, which was also totally unintentional, I literally can just generate the cube map here. And then I just define a view axis for like what I want it to rotate around. And then we just say start off the rotation at 0. Then when I update it, I literally just set up a matrix real quick, and then I just say render, and I give it this projection and everything that I created. So like if we wanted to change the FOV to 60, which is more Minecraft-like, we can do that, and then it'll look more bubblish because of the field of view. Yeah, so you can see it just changes that field of view. That's a little too steep probably though. But yeah, so you can change things pretty easy just by tweaking a couple of things. We'll leave that at 45. And I think that should be better. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, but yeah, anyways, back to business. So we need this dirt texture sprite. So what that means is we've got to offload a lot of this stuff. Basically just this whole initialize blocks thing. So this packs the textures if they're not already packed, and then it uploads it to the GPU, and then it compiles a couple of shaders, which that's probably not necessary. That shader compilation, I don't think I need to compile this shader till later, so let's get rid of that and move it down here. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is what we need, all of this stuff. Generate all the cube item pictures. This uses a shader, I think. Okay, and then initialize all the blocks. So this is, yeah, we need basically this block of code. And I'm going to put this into scene.cpp just so that we have it available throughout the entire game's runtime, because we're basically going to need all the textures at load time anyways. So this is better. So we'll basically have them in here when we initialize the scene. And we'll initialize this stuff first, because it's probably best to initialize that stuff first. So initialize all block textures and upload to GPU. Okay, so we're going to do that just so that we have them. And we need to include a few things. Include util/file. Or maybe it's in core/file. There we go. Move that up. Okay, and then we need to include texture packer, which is inside of utils. Hash include utils/texture packer. And block map, which is in render. So hash include render/block map. Nope, that's in world. Block map. There we go. Okay, and then world texture. Okay, so then these are just, yeah, stuff. So then we want to go into here. Let's get rid of that. And we're going to get some errors in here too, but we'll fix that up. World texture, item texture, block texture. We just want to put these up here. Yep. Okay. So I'm good with those in here. We should have no errors now. That's good. So then when we update, we're going to pass those through. So we're going to remove them from here. I think we also need to upload those to the GPU, which we might have been doing somewhere here. No, we're not doing that. Do we do it here? Let me just double check. I think this automatically uploads it to the GPU. Oh, okay, yeah. So we just upload it here. So upload texture coordinates map to the GPU. Cool. So that does all that stuff. We do a couple of patching things, which basically just fixes pointers and stuff. Okay, but anyways, if we go back into here, we're going to have some problems, yeah, down here, because we need to like bind the textures and stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass in whatever we need right here, which looks like we need a const texture ref world texture. So we'll pass that through, which will get rid of that error. And it looks like that's the only one we need in here. So we'll go ahead and copy that, go into world.h. We'll paste it here. Whoops, right there. And we're just gonna forward declare that texture. And then inside of scene, we're gonna have an error here, and we can just say pass in the world texture. Okay, and so now when we go to main menu update, we're basically gonna have a similar problem now. But actually we're not, because that all sort of just handles itself, I think. Possibly. Yeah, I think we should be good. Cool, yeah, so we're good. Next level for sure. Wait. Transpiler actually. Oh yeah, that is next level of voxel riffs, and it's turning out pretty good so far. So every time you add a new feature, it looks pretty cool. Okay, let's see if all that worked. Okay, so it doesn't look like we're getting anything in here. Let's just make sure I didn't break anything else. So if we load a world, okay, so if we load a world, we're still getting all of our textures. So I definitely didn't break anything. But it looks like we're still not getting that dirt texture properly, which could totally be because of the way I'm doing this, but I don't think so. So I do all this. This initializes the block map stuff. Then down here, we say change scene, and when we change the scene, we're changing to main menu, which should call main menus init, which is here. Yep, so we call main menus init, and then when we initialize here, we should be able to get, oh wait, and then this calls, yeah, then this calls nothing. That's why. So what we need to do is we need to say create world menu init. That's why we weren't getting anything. Okay. So I'll just do that right there. So now we should be good. That's probably why it failed gracefully earlier too, because I didn't actually do anything there. So, okay, no, still not working. What's going on? Let's make sure we're actually hitting these breakpoints. So let's add a breakpoint up here. Let's grab that. Okay, yeah, so we definitely do get called, and this is getting called from main menu init, which is here. Okay, yeah, so this is where we just put that. That's fine, and that's getting called from here, so that's all good. Okay, so if we step through this, when we go get texture format, if we go in here, okay, so this is a bad iterator, I'm assuming? No, okay, yeah, so this returns it. We get dirt here. Okay, and it says, yep, dirt. So it returns that. Then we say the texture is that. So if we look at the texture, we get a 2D texture. This is the block map, or the block texture or whatever. So that's all good. UV size we get is this. UV start is that. So that all looks good. Am I forgetting to do something here? We do begin window here. I have a feeling I'm like clearing the color and ruining this somehow. Let's just go to here real quick. What happens if we go to here? Whoa, we're at a weird rotation there too. Okay, so if we go to here, dirt texture sprite is still okay. Yep, that all looks good. And this expects, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this. This is kind of weird. So we should get a texture drawn, but we don't. Does this begin window clear colors? Let's see. Nope, it does not clear any colors. That just does all that stuff, which is fine. Yeah. Let's get rid of that, get rid of that. So everything is getting set up properly. we're just not seeing anything, which is always nice. So I need to figure out what else I'm doing wrong. I think that's probably because I'm not binding the texture or something weird like that, possibly. Let's actually go into here real quickly. Let's see what happens. So if we go into here, okay, so we go into here. We get all this stuff, and then we say draw a texture triangle. So we go into here. This gets a batch to assign it to. We get this batch. This has no textures assigned, which is fine. Then it gets a texture slot, which we get texture slot 9. Okay, that's all good. We add all the verts. That's fine. Okay, so then we draw the second triangle. Do we just never render our stuff? I believe we should. So if we just step through all this, if we go to here. Okay, so that does that. Does that. Yeah, and then we call render here, which flushes our 3D batches and then our 2D batches, which should draw that batch. So if we go through here, we should see at least one batch, which is... Okay, so we've got texture slot here, and I'm guessing this is the one. Oh, okay, wait, it just skipped over that, so it never flushed it. Oh, but that's fine, that's fine. Because then we go through all that, eventually get to here. That uploads that. I'm wondering if this is the problem, but I don't think it should be because we have the texture assigned and everything. That should all be fine. Okay, and then this just flushes it. And we get how many vertices? 12 vertices in there. Yeah, this all looks good. That is weird. Let's stop real quick. Let's just try and draw a square to see if that works. Because I might just have it in the wrong place. Render doc time, maybe? Not sure what render doc is. But wait, SEWeds, hope you talk to Gabe, because I had no idea about function pointers. Don't deal with them in Java. Yeah. Function pointers actually aren't that bad. They just have horrible syntax. And it's like, I have no idea. I don't even know if parsing that syntax is easier too. So I don't know why C decided to make the horrible syntax they did for function pointers. It's like, there's no way that can be easy to parse. Maybe I'm wrong though. Voxroofs, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. So let's draw a square real quick. And we're gonna draw a filled square. Just to see if it's working right. So we'll say the start is this. I'm not sure. It seems so scuffed. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, why did they choose such a weird syntax? Who knows, you know? Vec2, 3.0, 2.5. Actually, this might make perfect sense. I know why it's not showing up already. Oh, I'm stupid. It's because these are from the top left. We need these to be the bottom left. So if I just change that to a minus 1.5, I bet you, if we run this again, now we'll get a dirt texture. And sure enough, we get a dirt texture. Okay, cool. It's really big though. I kind of want to repeat that instead of doing this. I wonder if there's a way to just set it to repeat for that. Maybe, I don't know though. And you've used RenderDoc before, right? The OpenGL debugger thingy. I have not. I use, whenever I have to debug stuff, I usually use just like NVIDIA Insight. Yeah, this thing, which is helpful for most stuff. And then I just print the OpenGL debug errors, which is usually pretty good whenever I have some problems. I think I've used one other thing too that was actually pretty helpful. But yeah, so let's draw this behind everything though too. So we're going to do this z-index at -3, which should be behind everything. So let's just see if that works. It's better than RenderDoc, I guess. I'm not sure. I mean, it's just a preference, right? So... okay, cool. So now it's behind everything. Not sure why it's not covering. Oh, it's not covering everything because this isn't the full window height too. So let's make that the full window height, which I believe is 3. So we'll do this as 3. We want to do this as a darker color too. So we'll say static dirt style equals styles default. dot color. I need to type that style. Okay, dirt style dot color equals, and then we'll do a hash. We want to do like kind of darker, so I'll do like BB hex. That should be fine. And then we'll just pass that. Should give us like a slightly darker dirt. Okay, and it should fill up the whole screen space there now too. Cool, it's filling up the whole screen space. I do want to repeat the texture too and not stretch it like this. But I'm not sure if I can do that without like just uploading another texture with this specifically. Yeah. I don't know. I'll think about that a little bit more. I'll probably do that off stream sometime. I'll make this a little bit darker too. So we'll do like 999999. And then we'll just draw one more texture, which is draw texture 2D, dirt texture sprite, same thing. And eventually this will be repeating instead of stretching. This will be at minus 3.0, minus 1.5. And then we'll give it a size of 6, 3, and we'll give it styles, default style, and this will be at minus 4. Cool, so now we should get like sort of a Minecraft-esque type texture thingy. Yeah, cool. So it doesn't look right because these are just stretching instead of repeating, but I'll fix that eventually. I guess this is nicer looking. Maybe this is worse looking, but yeah, we'll fix it eventually. For now, though, I think I should probably say let's work on transparency like I said we were going to in this stream. I just wanted to get this done because I felt like it needed to be done. So, yeah. So this is going to be tough, and I'm not looking forward to it, but we'll see how it works. It is indeed whack. Also, you said, I can say with experience, C function pointer syntax has no pattern whatsoever. It's true. SE Woods, talking about NVIDIA, I was using OBS to capture some gameplay for my application, but the video output was choppy. In NVIDIA settings, I could change settings so it uses both integrated and dedicated graphics card. The NVIDIA was choppy no more. Huh. That's pretty cool. I use Streamlabs OBS, and I usually get pretty good stuff. They have something where you can like enable hardware or whatever, so I think they sort of do the same thing, probably. But yeah. Okay. Let's commit this real quickly, just so that I have that saved. This is on a screen you guys can't see because everything's opening to my other monitor. So I'll say add. This was update menu styles, I guess, and then we'll push that. Okay. So transparency. How does this work? Well, transparency is difficult. You can do this thing called order independent transparency, but it adds a lot of complexity, and I want to try and do the simplest thing first before we do that to see if it'll work. No matter what, though, in order to get transparency working properly, let's take a look at learn OpenGL just so that we can sort of visualize this stuff. In order to get transparency working properly, no matter what, we do need to do some stuff. Is this down here? Yeah, blending. Basically, we need to do 2 render passes, one for solid objects, one for transparent objects. And the reason I'm doing this too is because we were discarding before, like he's doing here, but that actually has horrible performance for the GPU just because it can't make certain assumptions. So we need to turn the discard off and actually do blending. This will also enable blending for like glass and stuff, so we can have color blending. So that'll be nice too. But yeah, you should use Windows Terminal instead of using CMD and Git Bash. I typically do. But for Git Bash, I just use that for Git just because I like the colors. Windows command prompt doesn't really provide that, which is unfortunate. So, okay, so with blending, right, we need to do 2 render passes no matter what. And we also need to make sure to render our stuff back to front. So rendering stuff back to front is going to be pretty easy because of the way I have things set up so far. Rendering things in 2 different passes is a different story. That's a little bit more difficult just because of the way I have things set up. So we'll have to take a look at that. Let's just dive into it, okay? Windows terminal is a separate terminal. Oh, Windows terminal is a separate terminal. That's the one that like Casey Muratori was showing, isn't it? Terminal. I don't think I have it installed. Yeah, no. He showed how slow it is, though, Voxeriff. So, you know, we shouldn't be using slow stuff, right? And SE Woods, it's because GPU utilization was so high due to the game you were running. So when you record in OBS simultaneously, GPU utilization went above 100%. Dang. I am interested in what game that was. They were using every last bit of whatever they could get. Okay. So let's close some of this stuff out here. Cool. Okay. We're going to go into Chunk Manager, that horrible mess of code. It's actually not that bad, but it's huge. It's scary. So no, Windows terminal is faster than command CMD. Still, he took it as the fastest slow terminal. Yeah, that's true. It's not installed on Windows 10 by default. Yeah, you have to install it separately and stuff, right? And you should be more interested in computer specs, not they're not good. Oh, okay. So we've got all this stuff. See, this is how we can do sorting pretty easily, which is nice. Actually, this is, yeah. So basically, if we want to sort by distance, all we literally do is like switch that. Pretty good, you know, that's not bad. But we need to do some other stuff. Yeah. Actually, this might not even be the right thing too. What is that? Fill chunk command. Oh yeah, this is the wrong thing. There's a draw command sorter too, which I use to sort the draw commands. Yeah, okay, so we have this. So basically I would just say switch that, and we would be rendering from back to front instead of front to back. So that's easy, but we need to bucket our vertices differently depending on if a block is transparent or solid. And that's the hard part. And I think it might be a lot of work, but maybe I'm just, this could be easier than I think, you know? So how do we do this? Basically, what we do is, if we go down, all the way down to the very bottom, this giant, massive thing. Oh, that's my tree generation. We can actually enable this too, hopefully later on in the stream, because tree generation and terrain generation should be a lot easier with this new model that I'm using. Okay. All the way at the bottom, way, way down here. Nope, too far down. Generate render data. That's what we're looking for. Okay, let's go here. Cool. So this is what we want. This is what basically generates all the vertices and puts them into different sub-chunk pools. And what we need to do is we need to determine whether a sub-chunk is transparent or not and appropriately dole our stuff out and sort everything according to that. So let's go to sub-chunk, which has our data, first, draw command index, level, all that stuff. And then we're going to add a bool in here, which is transparent. Okay. And I guess this should probably be atomic too, because we could be accessing this from the main thread or from the render thread. So we'll do that. Okay, so we use this is transparent flag to basically tell us whether it's transparent or not. Then when we're generating our vertices, why do I have render open? That shouldn't be open. When we're generating our vertices, we need to appropriately place them into a solid chunk or a non-solid chunk. So this is the current subchunk. What we'll do is we'll say subchunk star transparent subchunk. We'll initialize that to null pointer 2. This will grab stuff greedily. So if it ever encounters a transparent block and it doesn't already have one, a subchunk for that, it will basically just grab one. Yeah, and then we'll use that. So let's do stuff that way. So this says current Y level. Okay, cool. So that's all good. Current level, basically subchunks go from 0 to 16 depending on which level they are in the actual chunk and stuff. So that's what that's for. Voxers, when is anything ever easier than you think? True. Okay, so if we go through here, I basically do all this stuff. I have a to-do in here. This is pretty slow right now, but we can speed this up tremendously if we just... Because I'm doing like literally 8 operations here, which is perfect for SIMD stuff, right? So yeah, I should be able to do that. But anyways, that's a future thing. This is actually where we bottleneck too. I've done some performance profiling, and all this stuff can be quite performance heavy. So, and we can actually probably offload this to the GPU, but that might have some other problems too. So waiting on that. Anyways, when we get into here, this is where we add the faces that are not called by other blocks. Okay. So if the block is a block, so this checks if it's not a null block and it's transparent. Do we have an else in here? No. Oh, okay. This is only adding, okay, this is adding faces for the other blocks. So this is checking the blocks around the block that we're currently on. So the current block is this one. Okay, so then we can just say bool current block is transparent equals block map, or actually we could just say block format dot is transparent. Did I spell that wrong? No, that's right. Okay. It looked so wrong to me for a second there. I don't know if that ever happens to you guys when you see a word and you're like, there's no way that's spelled right. And you're like, wait, no, that is right. So yeah, anyways, okay. So this should check if the current block is transparent or not. We go through here. If not current subchunk. Okay, so we get the current subchunk here. So then what we need to do is we need to pass in one other thing, because we don't know. Let's see. Okay. Let's do one more thing. We'll say subchunk star. Let's see. This is going to say subchunk to use, because I already have current subchunk used. This is horrible variable naming, but it doesn't matter. And this is going to be current subchunk. And then we'll say if current block is transparent, then subchunk to use equals transparent subchunk. Okay. And actually, let's clean this up. I want us to have clear variable naming so we know. So this is solid subchunk. Okay. So we have solid subchunk and transparent subchunk. And then if we go down to here, we'll say current subchunk equals the solid subchunk. And then if the current block is transparent, we're going to use the transparent subchunk. Then we go and we do this thing, which basically goes and this checks to see if we have room in this subchunk. And if we don't, it gets us another one. So it sort of automatically fixes all that stuff. I think it's like right up here if we look. Yes. So yeah, so this, you can see it takes a pointer to the current subchunk and it returns a subchunk. So basically this says, do we need a new one? So it checks to see if the current one is null, or if it's at a different level, or if we have no more room. And then if we need a new one, then we say upload the old one to the GPU, and then we say the new one is, basically we check to see if we have room. If we do have room, we just ask the pool for another one, and then we update our debug stats so that we know how much RAM we're using and all that stuff. Okay, yeah, so this all works out good. And then we say it's testing vertices, just so we can mark it as being used. Then we return it. So that should be good. Oh, but we do want to change this though. Yeah, okay. So what we want to do is we want to just make sure to reassign transparent and solid subchunk accordingly. Let's do like a star here. Okay. Which you usually do for double arrays, like 2D arrays, but you can also do it for stuff like this, right? So then we're going to say current subchunk, star current subchunk equals that star that. That way we actually put it into the correct one. So this way we should modify solid or transparent according to which one we are. That way if they change, it should change here. Okay, I believe that should be fine. Then we can say, and let's actually call this current subchunk pointer. That way we just know that's a pointer. That, and then we can say subchunk, current subchunk equals star current subchunk pointer. Okay, and then we should be good. And I think this should bucket it into different buckets depending on whether it's transparent or it's not transparent. I think that might be all we need. Fingers crossed. So if we go all the way back to the top and we just stop, let's just stop drawing transparent objects. This will be a good test. So When we sort our draw commands, we'll basically just say if it's or actually when we're adding draw commands, let's see, I think that's in update. No, it's in render. Possibly. Yep. Okay, cool. Render. So let's basically just say if the subchunk is, so this is when we're adding all of our draw commands, right? We say if it's loaded and we need to upload the vertices to the GPU, we say that they're uploaded because we don't really need to do anything since we automatically upload them to the GPU. We basically check and see if we want to render it here. Then we check and see if it's visible. If it's visible, we add the draw command to our buffer. Let's also say if it's visible and this subchunk is transparent. So if it's not transparent, and then we'll switch this to is transparent just to ensure that we're getting everything. I also missed one thing too inside of generate render data. We also need to make sure that we're setting the subchunk to transparent if it is transparent. So what we should do is when we get the subchunk, which is up here, we should basically assign it to be transparent if it needs to be transparent. Should we do it here? I think we should do it here. Yeah, we'll add a Boolean here. We'll say bool is transparent subchunk. Let's be consistent here. Okay, so we'll do that. And then what we'll basically do is just say, if we need a new chunk, we'll just say ret is transparent equals that. Okay, and then we'll go down here and we'll just pass that through. Oh, and we also have to fix that too. Yeah, we'll fix that too in just a second. But for now, I have a problem here. Right here. Okay, so then we can just say current block is transparent. Okay. So that's all good. And then what we need to do here now is we need to say solid subchunk. So if we have a solid subchunk that was still pending, we'll just reset its state, and then we'll do the same thing for transparency. And we'll reset it there. Okay. I believe that should be good. So let's see. We should not get any transparent objects drawn because they should be in separate draw calls if this all works properly. And then if we flip it, we should get the transparent draw objects only, which is kind of the first step to everything, right? Okay, so our horrible thing. Everything's still drawing, and whoa, I went through. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Okay, guys, this is a success. So this is the glass. The glass is not drawing. If I place down a leaf block, oh, and that's actually pretty cool. It's like a ghost block. The leaf block is not drawing. This is good. Okay, so now maybe things can be easy, Vox Riffs. Maybe this is like a good sign, right? I don't know. So we'll go to render and let's flip it. Now we should only get transparent stuff drawn. So if we flip this to be true, we should only see transparent objects. Okay, fingers crossed. Does this work properly? And we're not getting anything drawn, which is a good thing. Oh, wait. Okay, I should see glass somewhere in a leaf block, though. Okay, so it doesn't look like we're quite getting it because I don't see leaf blocks or glass anywhere. Do I? I don't know. I don't see it. Okay, I think we're almost there, though, because this is kind of close. And the reason we can still see the block outlines and stuff too is because that's a completely different rendering pipeline type thing. So yeah, you can still see block outlines and stuff, but yeah. Okay, we're not seeing glass though, and we should see glass in like a tree block. So what's going on there? So if it's transparent, we create the draw command. We give it all that stuff. It should just draw it is what I believe, but maybe it's not actually adding it or something. Oh, wait. Yeah, generate render data. It might be because I didn't do this part right. So this is basically for chunks that aren't quite full. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is... There we go. Okay, so now we should get it if I actually program correctly. So if we load this in, okay, look at that. There's a leaf block and there's some glass blocks. Look at that. Okay, now we're in business. So we've got our blocks drawn. Also, should I draw the intermediate faces like this? I was kind of debating. Maybe we should have something special for like glass and stuff where we don't draw the in-between faces for glass, but I don't know. Okay, anyways though, so we've got all of our chunks sorted. So now we basically just want to draw buffer command things. And then we can draw solid stuff front to back to avoid overdraw, and then draw transparent stuff back to front to blend properly. And we should be good. So let's go back to render. And let's create another buffer. So I've got one command buffer thingy-mabob somewhere up here, which is, okay, yeah. So we got this command buffer thing, and it takes the subchunks size. And actually, I don't know, maybe we should keep it, I don't know. We'll do 2 command buffers. It's kind of a memory waste. We'll put a to do in here. To do, combine these 2 buffers into 1, since we're wasting RAM. It's not that big of a deal because these are pretty small objects, but there is a lot of subchunks, so this could not be the best, but it's fine. This will be our transparent one. And we'll add this as our solid one. We'll go to the constructor of this object. I don't hate OOP completely because sometimes I use constructors where it makes sense. I've got like sun in my eyes too, but it's all good. So we'll change this to use a Boolean. This will be is transparent. And then we will add in just like a Boolean here is transparent. Okay, and then if we go back up to here, we can say this is transparent equals is transparent. That way we can sort it properly. Parent. Okay, so then we go all that stuff. Yeah, because this literally like is uploading more memory to the GPU and stuff as well, but I don't think that's a big problem. We'll keep it this way for now. I will fix it in the future if I need to. Okay, so all of that stuff should remain the same. And then when we sort it, we just want to say sort. Oh, and then when we sort it here, actually, wait, I can do this pretty easily. So if we sort it, we can sort, this is front to back if we're solid. So we'll say if not transparent, sort front to back. Otherwise, stood sort, command buffer plus number commands. And then how do I sort backwards? Stood sort backwards. C++. Operator, blah, 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 greater, sort numbers, greater. Okay, cool. So then we can just use like a custom template thing. So let's actually do that. We'll make both of these custom. So this will be our static bool operator, and then we'll have 2 const draw commands, A, B, and then we'll do that. This will do A dot distance players less than B, and then we'll say static bool operator greater const draw command A, B, and this will do A dot distance player is greater than B dot distance to player. And I guess we should do equals. I don't know. It doesn't matter too much. Okay, so we'll do that. And then when we sort here, we can say draw command less than. And this one will be draw command greater than. All right, and that should be it. We're going to have to fix a couple of other things, of course. But that should basically do everything we need it to do. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about when I say we're duplicating some stuff, though, because now I have to have a solid draw command VBO and a transparent, which I don't really like. To do, make this better. And I do actually do my to-dos. I know it looks like I just write a crap ton of to-dos and never actually finish them, but sometimes I do. And Voxerus, well, constructors, destructors are good sometimes. I may implement those not as members for a struct, but some optional function you can define taking a pointer. Yes, I agree, except for the constructors part. If you do add constructors, destructors, this is a request. I think you should not do constructors because the thing with constructors are, right? If you have a constructor, let's open this up. If you have a constructor, right? Say you have some object, right? Class my object. And let's make this C++. So, oh, cool. Thank you for following Glitch Detector. Good to see you. Okay, so if you have like an object, right? And you have some constructor in here. And this constructor does some wacky stuff, right? Does a bunch of initialization and everything. And we have some private members, right? We have like a private member here and some member blah, blah, right? Whoops, let's not save that. So if we do this and then we say some member equals some initialization, whatever, however you spell that, some initialization thing, right? We do this. What's wrong with this? Well, now all of a sudden we've just completely ruined our program by adding this unnecessary complexity, which means serialization is no longer a straightforward task. Because now, if we want to create this object, then what happens is we basically have to say like my object, and we have to call the constructor because this is going to do something that sets this up. Whereas no constructor, right? Whoops, if I do that right. No constructor means when we do this, all it's going to do is zero this out. And so that means we can say my object A, my object B, A equals B. It's as simple as that. And all we have to do is copy all of its members to here. The raw binary, we don't have to do anything special, but yeah. No args constructor only, I was thinking. Well, even with a no args constructor, this still isn't, because if you do some non-trivial stuff in here and you set these member variables, then this doesn't work because all of a sudden you need to call this constructor. And specifically, what doesn't work is if we do like memcopy, right? Because if you do memcopy like B to A, and then like size of A, yeah, because then all of a sudden you have to call that constructor, but you can't really do that. And so I think this is the one thing, but constructors are useful for things like strings, right? Because then you can have automatic string cleanup and all that stuff. So there is like certain cases, but I feel like there should be some sort of thing where you can create a class and then you can basically say like, this is a constructorless class or something like that, you know, where it's like, you don't have to worry about that. This can be copied through the raw binary, all that stuff. If you do non-trivial stuff, then you'd implement proper copy and move constructors. Yep. I agree, Tippy, and good to see you too. I'm not convinced mem copying is a common enough use case for justifying this. Well, see, it's not only mem copy though, because then you can all of a sudden do stuff like fwrite. I think it's called fwrite, amb to some file, right? Because serialization and deserialization just becomes trivial because now all of a sudden you can do all this stuff. And I'm not necessarily saying we should get rid of constructors completely, but I think that there should be some very explicit flags in C++ that make it like known that which you can do in C++ currently. Like I know there's trivial types in C++ where basically if it's trivially copyable, this is true, but it's not very apparent when something is trivially copyable and it's not. So maybe just like making this super explicit that this is like trivially copyable, just so that when you're coding, you know, like that's going to be true. But yeah. Tippy, dumping that just arbitrarily disk sounds dangerous, not knowing the exact layout determined by the compiler. Plus, if the struct changes, your fwrite serialization breaks anyways. Well, the only reason that the layout wouldn't be known by the compiler is because we have to do stuff like this right now in C++. If I believe correctly, C, this should be fine no matter what. Like you don't have to worry about different compilers in C writing stuff differently. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong on that though, because I'm not a C++ expert, but I think this is the only complication, which is the reason you can't just sort of do this and stuff. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents. It's something I think would be nice. And you can do it in C++ already, right? You've got trivially copyable types and stuff. And you can say like, stood is trivial. Yeah, is trivially assignable, is trivial constructible, copyable, and you can check, but it's just not immediately apparent when you're using it whether it's actually true or not. So yeah. Okay, anyway, sorry about that side, whatever, side thing. What's wrong with this? Subchunks. Oh, we just need to say it's transparent. Yeah. And here I am using a constructor anyways, right after I said all that. So, I think it's useful sometimes, but I wish they would make it pretty clear when it's not being used and stuff, which would be nice. Okay, so this is solid, so transparent is false. This is transparent, so transparent is true. Okay, so then we're good. Okay, so we're going to say solid command buffer init, solid draw command VBO, solid draw command VBO. Let me do this twice now, and this is why I don't like this, because I don't want to have to do this twice, because we're wasting memory here, but it's whatever. We'll fix this eventually. Okay, so transparent command buffer, and then we'll do transparent, that, good, all good. Cool. So we got that done. There's gonna be a couple other places where this may be bad. Oh, cool. Defense, thank you for following. Good to see you. So then we'll do solid command buffer, just make sure we're cleaning up our memory, and do the same thing here for our transparent. Okay. And you can see that I'm kind of doing that thing I was talking about. I'm just dumping the chunks raw binary data. So perhaps that will break on certain computers because I'm not paying attention to things. But chunks are trivially copyable, I think, because we don't have, like, operators should be fine and stuff. But anyways, okay. Let's continue with transparency. We're getting pretty close with that. So I think we should finish this real quickly. I think I'm going to have a couple other places that are broken because of the changes. Yes. Okay. So this is going to be solid draw command buffer. If it's not transparent. And actually, we could just, let's remove that. Actually, I want to copy that. Do that. And then what we'll do is we'll say if it's transparent, we add it to one thing. Otherwise, we add it to another thing. Okay. This should be command buffer. And this will be transparent command buffer. Okay, so if it's solid, we add it to the solid one. If it's transparent, we add it to the transparent one. So now we have two different draw command buffers that do two different things. And then we will draw our solid stuff first, which is what this is going to do. So we'll draw it, we sort it, we upload the sorted stuff. What did I mess up there? Nope, that's good. That's good. That's not. Solid draw command VBO. Okay, 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 and okay. Okay, cool. So then we're just gonna copy this. I know this is bad, but it's just to see if this works, because I might have to do something more complex, which I don't want to do, but order independent transparent might be the only way. What's going on with the light in your face? Yeah, it's the blinds. They're like shining directly in my face, so it's all good though. That's what happens when I stream early in the morning and the sun rises this direction. But it is a hint from God that you must prioritize lighting in your game. Lighting is pretty much good though. Blinded by the blinds, yes. I've got lighting pretty much. It's almost completely good. I think there's just a couple things that I got fixed with it. So yeah. Okay, so let's fix all this stuff too. I just gotta make sure I don't miss anything like I did last time. Okay, this should be the transparent command VBO. Yep, and then we do transparent there, transparent there, transparent there. We're gonna do, this might be bad. I might have to check that. Actually, no, I don't think that should be fine. Okay. Okay, then we do that. We do that. Okay. Fingers crossed. Transparency works now. Should that just be a function called twice instead of copy paste? It should. I just want to make sure it works because this might not even be possible. I might have to do order independent transparency, so I just want to make sure it works beforehand. Yeah. Just change stuff till it worked. Huh. Yeah, that's how it always goes, right? Must be a non-static member. Why must this be a non-static member? Skipping function body. Oh, it's because I have to declare this inside of a separate file, isn't it? Okay, we'll do that real quick. Let's do this. Actually, no, this should be, because this isn't a CPP file. Wait a second. Must be non-static member, errand function declaration, skipping function body. Is it just because I have it like this? Do I just have to do this? And then draw command, bool operator, whatever. And then do that. And I'll fix that in just a second. And then just change that. Change that. No, I don't have to redeclare that, but I do have to say bool. Okay. And then that. I think that might be what it was complaining about. Let's see. I think it needs to be either a member or a friend function or a free function. Is that it? Yeah, it's saying must be a non-static member. Okay, yeah, because there was 2 different errors there. So I fixed the one error, but yeah, you're right. It looks like this is still not happy with that. I don't get why it would have to be a friend function though, because it's still, we're just doing that. I'll just simplify this. This doesn't even have to be a member of this. We'll just call this draw command util, right? So we'll just do that, and then we'll do that, and then we'll do that, and we'll simplify this, and then we'll just move this too. Okay, and then we'll do that, and I think that should be fine. Then down in here somewhere, we can just do that. I believe. I might not have to have that an operator though. I might have to make that. No, looks like that worked. Cool. Okay, so let's see if this works. Do we get transparency? It's still gonna look kind of weird. It looks like we do. We're correctly blending. If I add another leaf behind this, what happens? We're correctly blending and everything. Would you actually? No, we're not. Okay, so what's happening here? I think I just need to disable the mask, depth mask or something, so that it draws all faces all the time. But we are definitely drawing transparent objects after non-transparent objects. The lighting is still kind of weird. Maybe that's what you were referring to, SC Woods. I do need to fix that, but yep. So let me do this real quick. I think it should be as simple as just saying down here when we render, somewhere down here. Yeah, okay. When we render our transparent stuff, I think if I do GL disable or GL depth mask, false. And then we change that down here to true. I'm not sure. I saw something on Stack Overflow or whatever that said if you do that, it should basically be kind of like order independent transparency for stuff, maybe. We'll see what happens. Okay, okay. Yep, it looks like it does, sort of, but then we get that weird thing. Where that's getting drawn in front of this. Yeah, so this is the reason that we might need order independent transparency. If any of you guys have any other way to do this, that would be nice too. Channeler.viewers ++. Oh, cool. You are incrementing your way towards hundreds of viewers. Oh, I am. It only says 17 on Streamlabs, so it's still waiting. But yeah, I think this is going to be good enough for now. I'm going to re-enable depth mask. We have a problem though, which is that whole thing. And that's why we would need order independent transparency to get that to work properly. Because basically if you're blending within an object itself, like those vertices are chunked together into the same object. And so then what ends up happening, why am I going through that too? That shouldn't be happening. And so what ends up happening is like if I'm looking from this direction, it's drawing it in the correct order. But then actually, you know what that might be? That's actually way simpler than what I think. I just need to do GL disable, GL cull face. Yeah, because all of that's happening is it's culling. Okay, I think that should fix it. We should be good. Okay. Are we good? Yeah, and we still fall through that. Okay, so that's good. That is not good. Okay, yeah, so this is still the same problem. Because what's happening is it's drawing this first, and then it's drawing that, so it's not blending it properly within the object itself. And like this is a whole thing in rendering, and that's why I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. Yeah, so I'm not sure. This would be like where we would use order independent transparency to solve this, I think, unless anybody else knows of a different way to solve this. But yeah, for now though, this is working pretty good. Let me just go out here. See what happens if we add a bunch of glass. 2 to glass. Let's go ahead. We'll put like this guy here. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and like put more here just to see what happens when we have like multiple things lined up in front of each other. So if I look through here, okay, that all looks good. You can see through. It's not doing any like, okay, yeah. And then you see how it disappears there? Yeah, okay. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. Where basically, since it's drawing like in a certain direction, we just sort of lose all that detail as we go in a different direction. Oh, okay. Any OpenGL experts out there, let me know if there's an easier way to do this than order independent transparency, where you blend within the object itself and it just works, because that would be really nice. So we don't have to do this. And then you'll notice if we like look at it from the top, we're good, but it's just as we go down that it breaks. Yeah. So we're gonna have to change that. I'm probably not gonna do that today because this is good enough for me. Let's do that stuff. Just break that and everything. Like Essie Wood said, we should probably fix these lighting things that are happening. It's kind of weird. So first of all, let's commit that stuff. Okay, git add dot dash m add some bad transparency. Okay. And we're good. Cool. So that's all good. And then let's go ahead and see if we can fix that lighting. What are those dots you have on the glass boxes? Haven't been paying attention. I think it's just part of the texture. So if you look at the texture itself, which is in here, images, block, and if we go down to glass, which is right here somewhere. I'm probably passing it. It's, yeah, right there. Yeah, you can see it's just part of the texture. So I'm using Old Faithful, and then that's just all part of it. So no glitches there. That is purposeful, which is good. I'm trying to think of what else we could be doing. We need to fix that lighting. So let's add a debug stat that shows what block we're currently looking at, what our cursor's on, sort of like Minecraft has, because that'll be nice to debug certain things. So let's go to our debug stats.h. And we'll say extern block cursor looking at. I don't know. What do we call this? This is the block we're looking at, right? Block looking at. I guess that's good enough. Okay, so we'll call it that. We kind of can't do this because then we're going to need a for declared or something. I could do it as a pointer, but I don't like that. I'm trying to think of what the best way to do this would be. This should be the simplest part, and this is the one that's tripping me up. But yeah, I was not slagging on the lighting. It was just a joke. Oh, no, yeah, you're good, but it is something that I've been looking at, and I'm like, I got to fix that. So this should be easy. I don't know why I can't figure this out. Okay, let's just do like the block ID or something. I don't know. But I want the actual block so we can get the light level and everything too. Let's just include it up here. I don't want to include stuff in here, but we're going to have to include it. So we'll say include world/block map. Okay. So we have that declared. We're good. let's go into debug stats.cpp. We will define that to be block map null block for now. Okay, and then inside of here, we're basically just going to draw something after the chunks RAM that we're drawing here. I'll just copy this. I need to automate this too because it's really annoying to set up new stuff. So we'll just do this is like move it to the right some. So like minus 1.95. This is the block ID, the hovered block ID, I guess, what we're looking at. And then this will be the block we're looking at. .id. Okay, so that should be good. And then we can get rid of all that stuff. Okay, so that should tell us the ID. We'll see if that's working first of all. And if it is, then we can continue from there. I'm missing a parenthesis. Okay. Okay, we're good there. We'll draw that. That's all good. It should say like null for now or 0 because, yeah. So, and then I'm going to like hook this up to our raycaster thingy so that we actually get it looking at the correct block. So if we do F3, it's like over the chunk stuff. So I need to move it to the right some more. Oh, I moved the wrong thing too, it looks like. This should be, let's change this because this is breaking things. Let's do this as the block data pose. And then I'm just going to do this as that. Okay. And we're going to move this to like 0.95. Let's see if that looks better. I really need to automate this. There's no reason I should be doing this manually, but it's whatever. Has anyone tested this project on Linux and does it work? Well, I can tell you already it's not going to work because I'm using some Windows specific functions in certain places. So that's not going to really be good. Okay, so we do get 0.00 there. Don't know why it's like 0.00. That's kind of weird. Oh, it's because this is taking like a float. I can actually do this stood, or actually like, yeah, stood to string. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, cool. But yeah, so I am planning to add Linux support eventually, but for now it's not going to work, right? Because I have like this file .cpp and whoops, this is the wrong one. File.cpp. Yeah, right here. And this uses Windows specific functions right now. So I just, yeah, it's hash if defined. I basically just need to go and then add like a hash elif. I think it's like Unix or something, and then add support for Unix functions and stuff. But I just haven't had time to implement that and test it and stuff. So yeah. Okay, so that should be good though. This is a little bit too far to the left though now. So we'll do 1.434. I'll do 4. See how that is. I see. I could try to add it if it's not too much to change. Yeah, you can definitely go for it. There might be other errors and stuff that I just don't know about. There's going to be a couple other things too, like free type. And you have time. Yeah. Because like free type will be weird too, because I install Windows binaries by default for that. So yeah. But if you have time and you want to take a shot at it, definitely go for it. That would be cool. Okay. So that is almost good. Now we just need to go into player controller, CPP. And if we go down to where we update and do a raycast and all that good stuff, yep, right here, we can actually move this. Oh, this is also something interesting because I had to do that whole thing with setting up the textures so that we could render the block item textures, like the inventory slots, the little preview. I have the ability to draw cubes randomly. So adding like little drops and stuff when you drop something should be pretty easy. I have like a little proof of concept you can see. So adding this stuff will be pretty easy. It just follows my cursor right now wherever the raycast hits. But yeah, we can add that in at some point and it's like, it's just there. It's not going to be very performant right now because I'm literally just drawing these cubes. I should switch this to be like instanced and then just draw some instance thing, but that's all future stuff. But yeah, anyways, that's besides the point. Well, let's go ahead and not that, whatever I did there. let's go ahead and if we hit something, I want to say debug stats. Where do we get the block that we hit? Okay, so this is where we can get it. So let's do this for now. We're going to put this here. And I need to clean this stuff up to do. Clean this garbage up. Okay. But anyways, if we just do this and then we say like chunk manager, get block, world pose, we can say block equals that. And then we can say debug stats, block looking at equals block, which I guess we could just do that. And that's good. Okay. So now if we're looking at a block, we should see the appropriate ID pop up, and then we can add the light level just to debug this stuff a little bit better. So if we go back into here, we've got F3. Okay, block ID is 1. That's not working because it's looking, okay, that's the wrong direction. Yeah, so this is plus, we should be doing minus the res is hit normal. And actually, yes, this is going to be a little bit different. So I've got to change this up a little bit. Let's do this. This is just a block looking at pose. And then I'll change this back so that this isn't broken. Because basically if you're placing a block, you want to get the position of the block in front of you. And then if you're seeing what block you're looking at, you're basically reversing the direction of that normal. So that was what that was about. Okay, anyways though. Okay, so now we get ID is 12, 8, 2. Sweet, so that's working good. You can see it too. It's up here in this left corner in case you guys didn't know what I was talking about at all. But yeah, so that basically changes. If we're looking up at nothing, it should be nothing. We can fix that though, but it changes depending on what we're looking at. If we're looking at nothing, we can just sort of say that. Trying to think what I want to do there. I think we can just set it to like no block or whatever if we didn't hit anything. So let's just do that real quickly. Just simple. So if we hit it something, we do that. If we did not hit anything, we'll do block map, no block. Okay, cool. So that's all good. Now let's go into the stats and draw the light levels so that we can actually see what's happening there. So let's copy that. And if I just do that, we're good. Let's move this to like there. Light level. And then this will be dot light level. Okay. So that should give us the light level so we can start deconstructing that stuff. That's a meme thing on Instagram where they cut out football, soccer players and make them much smaller and then put them back on the pitch. The small cube reminded me of that, yeah. I like the small cubes. They're pretty cool. Okay, let's see. So light level is 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so then, and then light level is 30. Okay, so the light level here is actually good. Which is kind of interesting. The reason it's saying 0 for all these blocks too is because they're solid. So like if I want to get the light level of the block, it's actually the air block that's to the right of this. That's the one that I should be checking. But yeah, this light level is 30. So I don't know why it's dark up here. I'm trying to think of why that might be dark. Let's check. Actually, I think I know exactly why it's dark, and it should be an easy fix. Oh, please let it be an easy fix. This would be awesome. Manager.cpp. So if we go back into our generate render data. Okay, let's check that out. Okay, so if we go into here, I think all it is I need to change how we get the light levels. Yes, it's just this. So I'm just checking if it's air block. What I should be checking is if it's transparent. Why does that look wrong to me? I feel like that's spelled wrong. Did I spell transparent wrong here? I can't tell. Okay, I think that's all I need to do, and now we should be good. So, fixing lighting was pretty easy, Essie Woods. Isn't that good? I'm glad that it was. If it was, we will see. And it's working. Look at that. Hey, sweet. Now we've got lighting working pretty much completely properly. Yep, looks good here. I mean, it'll look better once we get the order independent transparency thing working. And this is kind of weird too. We're kind of getting like weird flickering there too, which is strange. What I want to do is I want to add some glass that's like colored differently to see if it appropriately blends the colors. Let's remove those real quick. So let's add a new block very quickly. We'll say like blue glass or something. So blue glass. We'll say ID is 18. Side is blue glass. I don't know. That might be wrong. Bottom is blue glass. We'll have to double check. Blue glass is solid, is true, is transparent, is false, is light source, is false. And I actually don't think I need to put is light source is false too. That's kind of implicitly declared. So we're good there. Awesome. Nice. Yeah, I know, right? We're finally getting somewhere, guys. Okay, so if we do this and then just double check that I'm going to get the correct image there. Let's go blue stained glass. Okay. Yeah, so I guess we just want to call that blue stained glass instead. So copy that, paste it there, paste it there, and paste it there. And then I'm gonna have to delete the generated folder so that it regenerates that stuff. So delete that. And it should generate in the beginning too, which is nice. Yeah, so it's generating that stuff now. So that means we can add a loading screen here while it's generating all that stuff sometime in the future. But yeah, so now if we go into here, let's give ourselves some blue glass. I don't know why I fall through the roof there. I need to check my physics stuff. Blue stained glass. It looks like it's got a bad texture there. Whoa, okay. Oh, okay, it's just because I'm looking at the wrong direction. But like if we look at this, whoa. Oh, it's because did I mark this as transparent? I think I did, right? Did I do that appropriately? Oh, is transparent should be true. Yeah. So, and the light is in your face is gone. Sweet, cool, that's good. You're too fast probably? No, I just, oh yeah, with the physics, that would make sense. But yeah, so if you accidentally mark things as transparent that aren't transparent or vice versa, it does weird stuff. There we go. Okay, look at that. And it's blending appropriately. And then once we get order independent transparency working, whoops, I forgot to change that back. Blue stained glass. There we go. I need to see why that texture isn't generating appropriately too. But once we get that, oh cool, it is kind of blending too. So we can already do like the Minecraft glass effect. Let's see if that works. Because once we get the order independent stuff working appropriately, we should be able, yeah, look at that. That makes me happy that it just works like that automatically. Sweet. So you can sort of get the fog effect. So this means we are doing something right. It's pretty close. Okay. You know, I'm pretty happy with this. It's not perfect, clearly, because this breaks. So let's talk about order independent transparency real quick, just so that you guys know what I'm going to be working on. And I'll be implementing that my own time. Basically what it is we can take a look at some of this stuff. Not that. Also, yeah, C++'s hash maps suck. And the reason they suck is because when you have debug mode on, they are literally 200 times slower than release mode. So I had to go get a different container for like unordered maps and unordered sets, which I ended up getting this Robin Hood thing, which actually works good. Robin Hood unordered map. So if you ever need an unordered map, don't use the stud standard library. Use that because it's way better for debugging. Okay, anyways though, yeah, so this is talking about the order independent transparency. So the basic problem is, say you have a picture like this, and let's open this so I can see it in its full glory. where basically you have geometry that's like overlapping itself like this. You know, you've got a bunch of transparent stuff all overlapping. What happens is, and let's go back to regular stuff. What happens is the GPU can't really blend this all in one draw call. Because the way the GPU does is it looks in this buffer that it has, which basically says this is what the current pixel's color is, and then it blends that with whatever you're drawing over that pixel. But in this case, you have no order over the way this is drawn because this is all part of the same geometry. And so depending on what direction you're looking at it, it's going to be drawn in different orders. And this is bad. So what you have to do is you basically have to come up with your own buffer. We'll switch to the drawing screen so we can explain this a little bit better. So the basic process is, if we go here, we scroll down a little bit. The basic process, from what I understand, is you basically come up with a shader technique which says, here's my own buffer. And this is my alpha buffer or something like that, right? You call it that. And what you do is you basically, any pixels that are blended. So like say you have some pixel located at like 350, 220. Like this is the texel. I guess texel is a better thing. Then what you do is you basically like get a linked buffer here. And you say this is its first pixel. And so you just like store this one, whatever color it is. So let's say that like this one was red. And then what you do is as you go through your image, if you find another pixel, which is also located at the same position, like say, so we fill this up. From what I understand, you keep filling this up and stuff, right? And then you say, oh, there's another pixel at 350, 220. And so what you do is you say you point him to here, and you say, oh, and this pixel is blue. And then you do all this, and it's all good. And then what you do is at the end of rendering your first pass, you use all of these pixels. And what you do is you just say, okay, let's find all of the pixels that were at 350, 220. Let's blend them all together all at once. So then you basically say, let's blend these two colors together, and then red and green will give you like yellow, right? I'll do blue because I don't have yellow up there. And then you say, this is the final pixel color at that position. And then you sort of do the blending all at once. That's the idea of order independent transparency. In this way, when you have geometry that's stacked on top of each other and you can't control the draw order, you can save all those values and do it all at once. But it's a little bit difficult to implement because it's not straightforward on the GPU. You have to do some special stuff to get that working properly. But yeah. But Learn OpenGL, thankfully, has a tutorial that I will probably follow. So yeah. And we're technically going to use the approximate OIT because it's faster and it looks good, apparently. But yeah. And then he has like a second part to this. So if you look, you can go to the guest articles, OIT, and then he's got 2 articles here. And this basically goes through how to actually implement it. Oh, that is really cool. I love looking at things like that. But yeah. And so he goes over how you can do this and then sort of shows it in action. So that's what the plan is. Wow, that's cool too. That's what I'll be doing. SE Woods, and this pixel is blue while drawing a green one. Sort of. Yeah. I don't know if I'm quite understanding you, but like basically what my problem is, I'm just like overwriting, like say I draw this pixel first, then we lose those data, or yeah, then we lose these because they never really get blended with this one, which is the problem we're encountering right now. But yeah, those chess pieces are really cool. I agree. One day I'll work on like some legit 3D rendering stuff and we'll make something like this because that is awesome. Yeah. But yeah, so this is the plan. I'll show you guys some of the other features I added to the game real quickly too, since we got transparency sort of working. So one of the features I added is if we hit play game and we load a world, all that stuff, what we can do is we can go through here and say I want to generate a new cube map for the title screen. I can go ahead and just like say /generate cube map, and this will resize my screen so that it's the appropriate size. Currently I have to do this twice because it's kind of weird, but this goes ahead and it takes screenshots with an FOV of 90 degrees of us pointed in different directions. So then if we go ahead and we take a look at our screenshots folder, you'll see we got these screenshots: back, bottom, front, left, right, top. And then if we just go into our images and we take a look at the menu skybox, we've got these here. And we can literally just drag, replace. And now we've got a new menu skybox. Look at that. And it's right where we were pointed in those directions. So this was one of the other features I had, and it's nice because now you can sort of generate your world and just generate the skybox accordingly and stuff. But yeah. It looked green, the color you chose in OneNote. Oh, okay, but you said blue. I could be wrong. Gotcha. It's like a cyan. But yeah. So this is how we can generate cube maps and stuff. I really like that because it makes it super easy. It's very hacky. So if you guys ask me to show you the code, I probably don't want to do that because it doesn't look very good. But it gets the job done, and that's all that matters. We're really getting places, though. This is like getting pretty legit. So I'm happy with that. I'm trying to think. I don't think I really had any other commands or anything. I did add like debug lighting, which basically just allows me to do certain things for debugging with lighting. Still falling through that. So like you can say debug light true. And now what happens is like if I place a block, I think I turned that off. It basically zeroes stuff out. So like if I do this, yeah, it sort of turns things on for me so that I could do stuff and like try and figure out what was going on. And then if I just like do that and then I update in here, yeah, we get it fixed and everything. So, but yeah, so there's like all that. And then of course set inventory slot, which you just choose the slot and the block, and then it automatically sets that up for you so you can choose different blocks and stuff. But yeah. So when does the series start? Good question. I'm probably gonna start writing the script for the, well, I've already started writing the script for the first episode. I just have to finish writing that script and then start actually doing the stuff. So yeah. But hopefully end of November is what I'm aiming for. Early December for the first episode, and we shall see. Oh, also, okay, I'm gonna say your name completely wrong. Anil Can GLK. You can generate reflections for this. You can, yes, with the cube maps and stuff, which is also pretty cool. It's not very performant though. As you could see, it kind of takes a long time because of the way I'm generating the screenshots and stuff. But that might be interesting to take a look at in the future, like on the fly reflections and stuff, which could be pretty cool. And that skybox looks nice. Love the gradient. Thanks. Yeah. The skybox that I did for this one, I just like did an Inkscape. So I just did like literally just like a horizontal gradient for that. But yeah. And it's so close. It is close. The series and everything. So you guys can keep an eye out for that. I just wanted to get transparency working properly before I started actually making videos for this and stuff. And some world gen stuff. I do want to clean up the world gen a little bit more so we have actual trees and stuff. But I'll probably do that in my off time this week or something. But yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you for coming to the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. We're getting to a pretty good place with this. Like it's actually turning into a game. So that's pretty cool. And I'll see you guys next week for the next stream. Yep. So next week at like 8 a.m. regular time, hopefully we'll be doing that. But yeah, good seeing you guys, and I'll see you next time.